What's up, guys? It's Josh back with SobrietyWoD. We're still in Colorado. We're at a place called Alta Lakes, which is really pretty awesome. Still covered with snow. We've seen some beavers and stuff. Um, and I want to take the opportunity to shoot a video for this next class. So what's kind of been on my mind lately, and usually what I do is just kind of jot down notes when stuff comes to mind, but what's really been on my mind is about letting go and about letting God do for us, or the universe kind of do for us what we were unable to do for ourselves. I realized in recovery, or I was taught in recovery, that this was like a demon that I couldn't defeat. And my experience showed me that time and time again, that on my own power, I was incapable of stopping what I was doing. And that's not just a recovery principle, but that really extends into the rest of our lives, that we need help, and that we're only in control, we're only capable of so much. The rest of it, 99% of it, we don't have any control over. And understanding and learning what the control issue is was a huge awakening in my recovery, to realize that there are things that we can do, there are choices that we can make, and decisions that we can make that set us up in a great place to allow the universe to bring good things in our way. But at the same time, we can't manipulate the entire universe, and I had to learn that in recovery. I had to learn that I couldn't make my situation different. All I could do was the next right thing in my situation. And one of my sponsors gave me this kind of rundown of decision making, and it's really stuck with me, and I think that it will really help you guys out too. But he was talking about weighing decisions, and he was talking about the difference between a good decision and a bad decision, and then the difference between a right decision and a wrong decision. And this is huge because, a lot of times we get in a place where we have to make a decision, but it's like, we're kind of nervous. We don't want to make it on our own, or we don't want to jump the gun, and we know that we can only see into our situation so well from our perspective. And what he said was that a good decision is probably one we brought to a mentor or a sponsor or to a group or to our family or to somebody we trusted. We laid out the pros and cons, and we looked at all the facts of the situation, and based on the evidence we had, we made the best decision we could possibly make at that time. Now, a bad decision would be to ignore facts or ignore reality, and usually it's based on emotion, and you probably know what I'm talking about. But it's when you want something so bad that you kind of step out of line, or you cut the line to get there, and then you realize that it wasn't really the best decision. So good and bad would be based on what I can see right now and based on help from outside perspective. But right or wrong is something we can only figure out later on when we see the outcome of it. So maybe the outcome wasn't what we wanted to happen, but it still was a good decision that we made. And so we don't have that guilt. We don't have that responsibility of knowing we shouldn't have done that. When we do the best we can with what's in front of us, we don't take on the responsibility of the consequences. We know that we've done the best we can. We've set ourselves up in the best position possible to not give up our honesty, our integrity, our values, to not break down our beliefs in order to get something that we want, right? So what we're doing when we do that is we're trusting. We're trusting the process. We're trusting spiritual law. We're trusting other people's outside opinions. We're taking suggestions, and we're making the best choices we can, and then we're leaving it up to God, to the universe, to others for their participation in that situation. So this kind of happened to me with SobrietyWoD. I mean, it happened early in recovery, but it doesn't stop. So with SobrietyWoD, I really was excited about this thing, and I really want to see it go somewhere, and I think it can help a lot of people. But at some point, I started thinking about what I wanted it to be. And I got so miserable that at some point in the process, I had to stop. I had to give it up again. And it took a couple weeks of going back to some sponsors, going to some meetings, and really realizing that this is not my thing. This is our thing. This is God's thing. This is the universe's thing. And if it really helps people, then we're just going to do the best we can and let it help people. That's how we have to roll. So you guys, take a second. I want you to talk about your experience with letting go. I want you to talk about how maybe you've experienced that in your recovery where you realized you were trying to like over manipulate situations or try to create situations, make things turn out the way you wanted them to, and no matter how much you try, you still get frustrated. All right, so you guys, or maybe a time where you actually did let it go, you did take some advice, you did the best you could, and it turned out well, you know? So you guys take a minute, get to know each other on that topic, and we'll be right back with the CrossFit side.